The protagonist recalls the words once spoken by his mother. He placed his absolute trust in what she had told him. Violent coughing racks his body, forcing blood from his mouth as his strength fades. He lies defeated on the ground, reflecting on the immense struggle he endured to get here. Leaning against a broken slab, he questions if this is finally the moment of his death. He stares at his fatal wound, thinking bitterly about the psychopath he allied with for survival. As footsteps approach, he asks the figure if they intend to use their power on him. The silver-haired man he spoke of stands over him, flanked by his companions amidst the ruins. The man looks down at the protagonist with a cold, impassive expression. A heavy silence hangs between the dying man and the group watching him from a distance. Resigned to his end, the protagonist closes his eyes with a faint, bitter smile. Suddenly, his eyes snap open as a sharp realization pierces through his resignation. He envisions a scene of survivors reuniting, a stark contrast to his lonely demise. The memory of a warm embrace with his mother floods his mind, reminding him of his goal. The silver-haired man remains silent, his sharp gaze fixed on the fallen survivor. A group of 3 adventurers stands amidst the burning ruins, prepared for battle with a potion in hand. They discover a heavily injured man slumped against the debris, who laughs deliriously despite his condition. Covered in blood, the survivor bitterly curses the twisted state of the world. Unseen by most, divine spirits from the heavens watch these human struggles unfold. These entities treat the situation like a show, projecting floating screens to discuss whether the man will die. The wounded man gazes up at the 3 figures, realizing his precarious situation. The leader of the group turns his back on the dying man, deciding to leave him behind. His companions follow suit, dismissing the survivor without offering any aid. Abandoned in the rubble, the man lets out a weak, self-deprecating chuckle as he bleeds. Suddenly, the adventurers stop in their tracks and turn around, sensing a strange disturbance. A mysterious, cloaked figure descends from above, hovering over the wreckage. The entity remains shrouded in shadow, surrounded by the glowing blue screens of the spirits. A single glowing eye pierces through the darkness of the hood, radiating an ominous power. The dying man's eyes light up with new resolve as a message warns him that the end is near. The 3 adventurers react with shock and alarm as the situation takes a sudden, unexpected turn. A cold, indifferent gaze looks down upon the fallen. The defeated man leans against the rubble, watching his opponent simply walk away. His companions leave him behind without a backward glance, disappearing into the ruined landscape. Alone and broken, he stares blankly as the reality of his abandonment sets in. A sudden spasm of pain widens his eyes in shock. His body convulses violently, coughing up a torrent of blood. His remaining strength fails him, and he collapses heavily onto the debris. Breathing becomes a struggle as he fights to keep his eyes open against the pain. He lies helpless on the ground, a fatal wound gaping in his chest. With the last of his energy, he raises a trembling hand toward the sky. He reaches out desperately toward the light, clinging to a final wish. Tears stream down his face as he realizes this is truly the end. His vision blurs with tears, and his eyes finally close in defeat. The darkness of death is suddenly replaced by a strange, bright view. He jolts awake in bed, shouting in absolute disbelief that he is still alive. A small spirit lifts its head, alerted by a sudden noise. It stares forward, bewildered by the strange surroundings and the ominous atmosphere. The creature realizes it is trapped in a sea of other spirits, trembling with anxiety in the crowded space. A terrifying figure wearing a suit and a deer skull mask emerges from the mist to oversee them. The entity stands motionless, its glowing red eyes scanning the gathered souls. Fear grips the small spirit as it stares up at the intimidating overseer, dreading what comes next. Without warning, a massive vortex tears open, sucking the confused spirits into its depths. The chaotic current sweeps the souls away, while the deer-headed figure watches the harvest in silence. Helpless against the pull, the little spirit is flung into the swirling cosmos. A blue interface suddenly materializes in the void, announcing the activation of a special blessing. A brilliant light envelops the falling spirit, forming a protective cocoon around it. Suspended within the glowing sphere, the spirit gasps for air, momentarily safe from the chaotic void. A system window presents a life or death mission. It must become a teller and secure a contract within 1 hour to avoid death. The spirit reads the harsh terms through the translucent screen, sweating as the reality of the situation sinks in. It notices a number on the display, realizing the countdown for its survival has already begun. The story begins with a view of the Earth shining brightly in the vastness of space. However, the planet is soon consumed by flames and destruction, signaling a catastrophic event. Amidst visions of human suffering and chaos, a small, round spirit is awakened and assigned the role of a teller. A holographic system window appears before the spirit, presenting it with a set of instructions. The world has been thrown into turmoil as mysterious gates opened, unleashing hordes of monsters upon the cities. The spirit stares intently at the screen, processing the grim reality of the situation. The system illustrates a cruel rule where acts of betrayal and violence are rewarded with more points than cooperation. Faced with a strict time limit and the threat of death for failure, the spirit accepts the high-stakes contract. A digital map of the world appears on the interface, and the spirit navigates through it. With a determined gesture, the spirit selects a specific region on the holographic map. A surge of energy radiates from the screen as the selection is confirmed. The spirit looks on with wide eyes as the magic takes effect. Elsewhere, a mysterious figure wearing a suit and a deer skull mask stands in a corridor of floating screens. The entity possesses an intimidating presence, with a red light glowing ominously from its eye socket. Suddenly, the skull-headed figure flinches, sensing a disturbance or a new presence nearby. A man floats within a digital expanse, shocked by the sudden data appearing on his holographic interface. His eyes widen in disbelief as he struggles to comprehend the anomaly unfolding before him. He focuses on the map, realizing the disturbance is centered on a specific geographic location. Strange energy bubbles distort the space around him, signaling a fundamental shift in reality. A sudden realization strikes him. The entity he is tracking has completely altered its physical form. A bizarre figure manifests in the void, wearing a formal suit topped with the eerie skull of a deer. The observer is left stunned, unable to understand how such a drastic and impossible transformation could occur. The skull-headed entity stands silently before a profile of the man, contemplating the mission that links them. Far from the digital realm, the sun shines brightly over a dense metropolis of towering skyscrapers. Back in the physical world, the man cautiously peeks out from a hiding spot, scanning the area to ensure he is unseen. Sweat runs down his face as he nervously assesses the danger of his current position. He steps into a busy lobby, trying to blend in while keeping a watchful eye on the professionals around him. With a swift motion, he activates a holographic display to check for critical updates. The digital map lights up with numerous red indicators, pinpointing multiple targets scattered across the city blocks. He stares intensely at the screen, anxiety building as he realizes the sheer scale of the situation he faces. The man examines a holographic map in the lobby, noting the difficulty of the task ahead while a security guard approaches him. The guard becomes suspicious and watches the visitor closely. Suddenly, the guard grabs the man by the shoulder and demands to know if he has permission to be there. A burst of energy erupts from the man's body, shocking the guard and forcing him to recoil. As the guard collapses to the floor in disbelief, the man stands his ground and calmly confirms his authorization. Leaving the bewildered guard behind, the man turns and walks away from the scene. He proceeds through the building, keeping his attention fixed on the glowing screen in his hands. The interface displays a list of names and profiles, tracking specific individuals in the vicinity. With a quick gesture, he closes the holographic display and prepares to move. Something catches his attention, causing him to pause and look up. He steps out onto the busy city street, observing the pedestrians walking by. He scans the environment with a serious expression, searching for a specific object. A mysterious, large book appears floating in the air above the street. A countdown timer appears in his vision, indicating that time is running out as he focuses on the floating item. Without hesitation, he reaches out his hand to grasp the object before the timer expires. A mysterious, glowing book appears floating in the middle of the city. The man reaches out to grasp the strange object. He opens the book and begins to flip through the pages. He carefully examines the contents written inside. His eyes widen in shock as he processes the information. He realizes something significant about what he is reading. He suddenly stops and calls out, pausing his actions. He turns his attention toward a specific target. Looking down at the book again, he confirms his suspicions. The glowing pages hold the answer he was seeking. Elsewhere, a supernatural entity monitors a countdown. The time remaining is quickly ticking away. The creature watches silently, observing the situation unfold. It waits for the timer to run out. The man's expression turns serious. He focuses intently, preparing to make his move. In a small room, a woman is interrupted while eating her meal. She looks up in sudden alarm. The man bursts into the room, startling the woman so much that she falls over. He immediately demands to know if she has entered the space he is investigating. He stands over her, looking down with intensity. He waits for her response to his sudden intrusion. The woman sits on the floor, completely stunned and confused. She stares up at the stranger who just barged in. The man's intense expression shifts into a relieved smile. He realizes he has found exactly the person he needed. This is a world where myths, legends, and abstract concepts manifest into reality. It is a place where the physical and spiritual realms merge together. The man marvels at the book's ability to reveal the value of a life. He realizes that collectors can determine a target's worth before even signing a contract. The man reads a profile describing a hunter named Kim Sang-duk, noting his mediocre combat talents and water cannon ability. He throws the book aside, declaring that there is only one course of action left for him to take. A magical book floats in the air as he reaches out to control it. He rapidly flips through the pages, frantically searching for information. His expression turns serious as he realizes the urgency of his situation. He visualizes the difference in value between targets, knowing that a gold-colored individual is far superior to the silver and bronze ones. Standing in the middle of a busy street, he holds the silver book while scanning the crowd for a better prospect. He snaps the book shut, preparing to continue his search. A holographic timer appears in front of him, counting down with less than 30 seconds remaining. A sudden flash of blue light erupts as he scans the area, startling the nearby pedestrians. With the timer ticking down to 10 seconds, he falls to his knees in despair, unable to find what he is looking for. He looks up with a fierce determination, refusing to give up despite the lack of time. He checks his radar screen again, driven by the certainty that a rare gold-colored target is somewhere in the vicinity. Suddenly, he freezes as he senses a specific presence nearby. He turns abruptly and locks his gaze on a woman walking past him, suspecting he has finally found his target. A man watches a passerby with suspicion, sensing something unusual about her presence. His mind flashes to the legendary saint, a figure of immense renown. He also recalls the other famous heroes, the Flame Knight and the Sword Empress. A holographic system window suddenly pops up, capturing his attention. The interface reveals that the woman is actually the strongest member of the Miraculous Three. Presented with a prompt asking if he wants to teleport, he reaches out and presses yes. He vanishes from the sidewalk in a flash of blue light, leaving the street behind. The teleportation deposits him instantly into a cluttered room where he stands looking disoriented. A holographic timer appears next to him, indicating a countdown has begun. Unaware of the intruder, a woman in a tracksuit sits on the floor blowing on her instant noodles. She suddenly notices the stranger standing in her room and looks up in shock. The woman falls backward in terror, while the man looks around, confused by the messy surroundings. He stares down at the frightened resident, sweating as he assesses the situation. Suddenly, a glowing golden treasure chest materializes in the air, directly above the woman's head. Seeing the reward marker, the man forces a nervous but determined smile. Amidst the clutter of a small room, a man in a suit stands before a woman, while a holographic timer counts down. The woman looks up at him in sheer astonishment, her eyes wide behind her glasses. The man's gaze sharpens as he assesses the urgency of the situation. Overcome with awe, she clasps her hands and stares at him with sparkling eyes. He reaches out his hand, silently requesting the paperwork she is holding. Her expression falters and she hesitates, looking down nervously. He watches her with a serious demeanor, silently urging her to hurry. Suddenly, his eyes glow with a mysterious purple light, startling her. A burst of energy radiates from his hand as he prepares to intervene. With only 16 seconds remaining on the clock, the pressure mounts. Moving swiftly, he snatches the pen from her grasp to take matters into his own hands. He focuses intensely, ensuring the task is finished before time runs out. The document in the woman's hands glows brightly, indicating the process is complete. A system message flashes before him, announcing the mission's success and his promotion to full-time employee. With the job done and his reward secured, a satisfied smirk spreads across his face. The man politely introduces himself, expressing his excitement to work with Kang Hyeram. Hyeram laughs awkwardly and scratches her head, contrasting sharply with the serious potential hidden within her. A glowing book suddenly materializes in the air, confusing Hyeram as the man reaches out to grab it. He opens the mysterious book and begins to read its contents intently. His eyes widen in shock as he processes the incredible information written on the page. A vision of a powerful armored warrior wielding a sword flashes vividly through his mind. The book reveals that the unassuming Hyeram possesses the dormant talents of a legendary Goryeo-era swordmaster. Startled by his sudden intensity, Hyeram stammers a nervous response to Mr. Teller. He stares at her in disbelief, struggling to connect this clumsy woman with the powerful stats he just read. Hyeram continues to laugh sheepishly, while the man looks on with a mix of frustration and disbelief. He reaches down and covers the list of her overwhelming talents with his hand. A chill runs through him as he realizes how frightening her ignorance of her own power truly is. Regaining his composure, he closes the book and offers her a polite, professional smile. Suddenly, a blue holographic interface pops up in front of him, interrupting the conversation. The system notifies him of his promotion to a full-time teller and presents a mandatory entrance ceremony mission. The man questions the timeline with a serious expression, leaving the woman looking surprised and confused. As he prepares to leave, he mentions a shield, causing her to reach out toward him in uncertainty. Her gaze falls upon a battered wooden shield lying discarded amongst the trash on the floor. She bursts into laughter at the sight of the worn-out item, while the man looks on with awkward annoyance. She picks up the old shield, but he reaches out his hand to intervene. Suddenly, the intense spirit of an armored warrior manifests behind her, casting a heavy shadow over the moment. A decision is made as a finger presses the acceptance button on a glowing system interface. A pillar of blue light erupts within the messy room, enveloping her completely. She finds herself transported to an empty industrial lot, holding a sword and recalling the instructions she was given. Staring at the shining blade, she hesitates and wonders if simply swinging it around will be enough. She attempts a clumsy swing, flailing the heavy weapon through the air with a strained expression. Realizing she needs to focus, she pauses to steady her breathing and clear her mind. She extends her arm fully, thrusting the sword forward with more deliberate intent. The momentum of the movement pulls at her, requiring her to adjust her balance. She follows through with the motion, guiding the blade in a wide, sweeping arc through the air. A woman lunges forward, thrusting her sword with sudden intensity. Nearby, a man sits relaxed, scrolling through a holographic screen without a care. He suddenly senses the incoming attack, and his eyes widen in alert. With effortless grace, he dodges the strike, letting the blade sail harmlessly past him. The woman follows through with her motion, fully committed to the attack. She freezes in shock, realizing the man has evaded her completely and is now standing calmly in front of her. Flustered and surprised, she stares at him, unsure of how he moved so fast. When he addresses her, she blushes and awkwardly laughs, trying to downplay the seriousness of her assault. A system window appears before the man, assigning him a mission to become a full-time employee and create a library. Curious about the glowing interface, the woman leans in from behind and asks what he is working on. The man glances back at her, causing her to look startled by the interaction. He turns his attention to the screen, reaching out to input a name for his new library. A list of potential titles appears, offering various extravagant and strange options for him to select. Together, they stare intently at the display as the process continues. The screen changes to show a live broadcast of an adventurer struggling against monsters, accompanied by rude comments from viewers. The man realizes the threat before them is merely a slime, causing a mix of relief and awkwardness. He immediately turns his attention to the holographic interface appearing before him. Strange energy manifests on the ground nearby, signaling a shift in the environment. A swirling vortex of magical energy bursts open, revealing a gateway to a mysterious location. Turning to his companion, the man asks a rhetorical question about the nature of collectors and the stories they create. He declares his intention to craft a specific narrative for her right here and now. The woman listens in silence, surprised by his sudden confidence and plan. A vision of a shadowy figure carrying a large tome crosses the man's mind. He guides her toward the dark cave entrance, placing a hand on her back as she grips her weapon. Standing at the precipice of the dungeon, she nervously admits she knows a little about what to expect. The man activates his interface and presses the button to open a new library for his story. Immediately, notifications chime as various mysterious entities enter the channel to watch. Kang Hyeram stands composed before the holographic screen, acknowledging the arrival of his audience. The viewers begin mocking the woman's trembling fear, demanding the story proceed without delay. Ignoring her terror, the man turns to her and coldly states that she must face this challenge alone. Heavy, monstrous footsteps thud against the dark ground as a creature approaches. The woman in the pink tracksuit stands frozen in terror before the demon, while a man observes the confrontation from behind a holographic screen. Tears stream down her face, and her teeth chatter as panic completely overwhelms her. The demon strikes with tremendous force, sending the terrified woman flying through the air. The beast presses its attack, its glowing yellow eyes fixed on its prey with savage intent. She desperately raises her sword to defend herself, barely managing to block the crushing blow. The impact is so powerful that her shoes skid backwards across the rough ground. Unable to maintain her balance, she tumbles backward, leaving her exposed to the monster. As she cowers on the floor, a blue system window appears with a cruel message stating that the Explorer of Pain expects her to be torn apart. In a different setting, she walks down a hallway clutching a round shield, enduring the judgmental stares and whispers of those around her. The whispers seem to transform into dark, mocking laughter from the shadows surrounding her. She hugs her shield tightly to her chest, tears running down her face as she tries to ignore the humiliation. A worn notebook labeled St. Petersburg lies quietly on her desk. She sits alone in her small, dimly lit room, curled up on a stool while her shield rests on the bed. A sharp, intense light reflects in her eyes behind her glasses as she sits in the silence. Fear paralyzes her for a moment as the reality of the danger sinks in. She barely manages to raise her arm in defense, taking a painful slash that draws blood. In that split second of pain, a mundane memory of a hot meal flashes through her mind. The thought snaps her back to the present, her gaze sharpening with renewed focus. She recalls the man who offered her a chance, his presence looming in her memory. Determination returns as she tightens her grip on the weapon's hilt. The observer watching from safety is suddenly taken aback by her shift in demeanor. She stands her ground, facing down the monstrous creature without flinching. Lowering her head, she centers her balance and prepares to strike. A golden light flares in her eye, signaling the awakening of her true strength. As the beast leaps to attack, she swings her blade upward in a blinding arc. She puts every ounce of her power into the motion, her expression fierce and unyielding. The strike connects perfectly, slicing through the monster's flesh in a spray of blood. She follows through with the devastating cut, cleaving her enemy apart. The man watching is left stunned and speechless as the system messages reflect the audience's utter shock. Exhausted from the relentless battle, the warrior collapses to her knees on the rocky terrain. Blood stains her face, yet her golden eyes continue to burn with fierce determination. Her body reaches its limit, and she struggles to catch her breath beside the corpse of a fallen beast. A holographic screen suddenly activates, revealing a man who watches her struggle with a satisfied smile. She turns her head, her attention caught by the sudden interruption in the desolate landscape. Without warning, a searing arc of golden energy slices through the monster's flesh. A glowing ring of runic light encircles her arm, leaving her stunned by the sudden manifestation of power. She gasps for air, shock evident on her face as the mysterious energy hums around her. Turning to the holographic display, she excitedly asks the observer if he was the one who intervened. The reprieve is short-lived, as a horde of armed monsters charges forward to overwhelm her. She reacts instantly, narrowly dodging a crushing blow from a massive beast. Donation notifications flood the air around her, and she grips her sword with renewed purpose. A confident smirk replaces her exhaustion. She is ready to continue the slaughter. With blinding speed, she dashes into the fray to slice through the oncoming wave of enemies. On another screen, a reptilian executive from Body Inc. watches the violent spectacle unfold. A reptilian administrator selects the profile of a man named Kang Hyeram on a digital interface. He taps the screen to process the data, focused on his task. Suddenly, the administrator stops, struck by a shocking realization. His eyes widen in panic as he comprehends the gravity of what he is seeing. Elsewhere, a woman runs for her life, pursued by a pack of armed monsters. She glances back while fleeing, her face showing determination despite the danger. Realizing she cannot outrun them forever, she draws a sword from her waist. She swings the blade into a defensive position, ready to strike back at her pursuers. The monsters continue their relentless chase as she dashes toward a dark tunnel. Meanwhile, Kang Hyeram smiles confidently as he is bombarded with messages questioning his actions. The woman stops in confusion as donation notifications suddenly appear in the air around her. Kang Hyeram observes the situation with a curious expression. The woman finds her path blocked by a glowing red warning barrier at the cave entrance. A holographic screen connects her to Kang Hyeram, and she looks at him with uncertainty. She nervously tightens her grip on the sword hilt, hesitating before her next move. A suited observer watches from a high-tech control room as a woman stands before a barrier on the monitor. The woman is startled when a holographic interface suddenly materializes, displaying the face of a man. Gripping her weapon tightly, she stares in shock at the blue screen that has appeared before her. The man on the projection speaks to her with a calm smile, leaving her confused by the sudden communication. She stands alone in the dark cave, facing the imposing red energy field that blocks her path. Memories surface of the city, where civilians gazed up in terror at a massive swirling portal in the sky. Back in the dungeon, the red barrier vibrates with a low, ominous hum. The woman listens intently as the man on the screen continues to speak to her. The man's expression remains calm and focused as he delivers his message. Her hesitation vanishes, replaced by a heartbeat of excitement and a confident smirk. Multiple notifications chime around her, signaling that the invisible guides and observers approve of her choice. In the control room, the lizard man watches in nervous disbelief, realizing the situation has shifted. With renewed resolve, the woman lowers her stance and readies her sword for combat. She pushes off the ground with explosive force, dashing forward instantly. Swinging her blade with all her might, she unleashes a powerful strike against the obstacle in her way. Donations flood the stream interface as the woman grips her weapon, preparing to face a monstrous threat. The system displays the current viewer statistics for the Hero Legend broadcast channel. A man in a white coat monitors the situation remotely through several holographic screens. The narrative reveals that an apocalypse was unleashed upon the world solely to create an entertaining story. The man watches the unfolding events with a sharp, calculating gaze. He enters the scene physically, standing in the dark cave surrounded by the corpses of defeated monsters. The woman is startled by his sudden appearance, but he greets her with a friendly smile. Her tension vanishes instantly, and she beams with happiness at his kind demeanor. Noticing her exhaustion, the man suggests she take a break, and she collapses to the ground to rest. She lets out a heavy sigh of relief, wiping the sweat from her face as she catches her breath. Despite the dangerous environment, she gives him a cheerful thumbs up to show she is all right. Suddenly, a mysterious golden object glows brightly in front of the man. He abruptly drops to a crouch, startling the woman with his sudden movement. A massive red monster wearing a necklace of skulls silently rises from the shadows behind them. The woman's expression freezes in shock as she realizes the deadly threat looming over them. The woman leans in close, shouting to get the man's attention. She straightens up, looking down at him with a confident smirk. She strikes a pose with her sword, looking proud of herself. A smug smile crosses her face as she glances at him. The man chuckles softly, amused by her display of confidence. She swings her sword around, demonstrating her skill. She turns back to speak to him with an excited expression. Humming a tune, she walks away and tells him to check his own weapon. The weapon in question turns out to be a jagged, broken piece of stone. The woman's eyes widen in exaggerated shock when she sees the useless item. A digital shop window appears displaying expensive swords, and the man tells her to choose. She bursts into tears and tries to stop him as he reaches to make a purchase. The transaction goes through, reducing the available points to 0. A bright light manifests a pristine new sword in the air. The man smiles kindly as the woman clutches the new weapon, overwhelmed by the cost. A low growl echoes from the darkness of a cave entrance. A large, armed monster stands ready for battle, leading a group of minions. The creature glares ahead with a menacing and dangerous intensity. A woman in a tracksuit steps calmly into the dungeon, holding a sword. The smaller monsters are suddenly struck by overwhelming terror. She leaps into the air, swinging her weapon with incredible speed. A massive shockwave from her strike blasts through the cavern floor. She slices through the enemies effortlessly, decapitating one in her path. Screaming in frustration about her hard-earned points, she stabs wildly at the monsters. Her eyes burn with a terrifying rage as she focuses on the battle. She charges directly at the monster leader, raising her sword high. The boss creature trembles in fear, realizing it cannot escape. With a powerful swing, she cuts deep into the leader's body. The scene shifts abruptly to the peaceful sign of a cafe. The woman happily enjoys a delicious treat, her anger completely replaced by bliss. The man asks if the food is really that enjoyable as he watches his companion eat. She is completely lost in the delicious flavor of the cake, her face lighting up with joy. He suddenly pokes her forehead to snap her out of her food trance. Taking a calm sip of his coffee, he prepares to address the serious matter at hand. She freezes with her fork in midair, confused by his sudden interruption. He activates his unique ability to access a hidden database that only he can see. The interface reveals the name of the legendary figure associated with her, Chuk Jung-kyung. He recalls the history of the low-ranking officer who rose to power, while she reacts defensively to the name he mentioned. The legend speaks of a warrior who single-handedly wiped out an entire enemy tribe. It was a display of overwhelming martial power that cleared the battlefield of all opposition. The man recognizes that the hidden talent she possesses rivals that of the legendary sword god himself. He tells her that her true strength is far too great to be compared to something from a TV drama. She tries to deflect his serious analysis by acting cute and innocent, but he looks at her with skepticism. His unamused stare makes her break character, leaving her flustered and exposed. Annoyed by the interaction, she pulls out her phone to check the information for herself. The woman stares at the phone screen, her face flushing red with shock and embarrassment. Unable to handle the embarrassment, she lashes out and knocks the phone right out of the man's hand. The man lets out a weary sigh, resigned to her violent reaction. She immediately tries to play it off, laughing awkwardly while scratching her head. Despite her laugh, the man feels the intense pressure of her true, intimidating nature looming over him. He grabs her wrist firmly to take control of the situation. Dragging her towards the exit, he insists that they must work on improving her public image right now. He stands confidently before her, ready to implement his plan for her transformation. She stands still, looking nervous and unsure about what is going to happen next. The simulation begins and system messages announce the arrival of the Sword Empress to the viewers. Virtual notifications pop up, describing the shocked reactions of the audience witnessing her entrance. The man watches closely as the transformation takes effect. She appears in full traditional garb, radiating the elegance and power of a true martial artist. Her new appearance evokes the spirit of legendary heroes, standing tall and proud. The man observes her with satisfaction as digital hearts appear, showing the audience's immediate approval. A sudden surge of blue energy radiates from the woman's chest, catching her completely off guard. Holographic screens materialize in the air, displaying a list of combat skills and sensory abilities now available to her. The man advises her to prepare herself properly as the magical aura intensifies between them. She closes her eyes and focuses her internal energy, letting the light reshape her form. Upon opening her eyes, she is startled to find her modern clothes replaced by traditional martial arts robes. Her expression sharpens as she processes the sudden transformation and the power flowing through her. The man's demeanor shifts to alarm as he senses an unexpected presence manifesting behind him. A swirling dimensional portal opens up, drawing the attention of both the man and the woman. They are transported to a dark, stone-walled passage, leaving them confused about their new location. The man lowers his voice and notes that they have arrived in a secluded area that sees very little activity. They are standing inside the legendary Labyrinthos maze, a sprawling structure located within the Knossos Palace. While exploring the gloomy corridors, the man questions the reason for the area's desolation. The woman gasps in horror when she stumbles upon a corpse pierced by arrows on the ground. The man instantly signals for her to be quiet, warning her not to alert whatever killed the fallen adventurer. Blue notification windows appear around the man, conveying messages from invisible entities eagerly watching their progress. The man smiles faintly, appearing confident and amused by the situation at hand. He prepares a spool of red thread, an item intended to be a crucial tool. He speaks to the woman about a powerful warrior, leaving her surprised as she holds the thread. Suddenly, a beam of magical light strikes the stone wall of the dungeon. The woman clutches the thread to her chest, looking around in confusion and silence. A holographic screen abruptly materializes, projecting the man's face as he urgently calls out to her. Encouraged by system messages announcing donations, she unravels the thread and prepares to take action. She walks forward with determination, striding past the skeletal remains of those who perished here. Far away in safety, the man closely monitors her progress through a digital interface. The ground is littered with skulls and bones, a grim reminder of the dungeon's lethality. Sensing danger, the woman hides behind a corner and peeks out nervously. A bright light shines from the end of the dark tunnel, illuminating the path ahead. The man watches with growing concern on the screen as the woman wipes sweat from her forehead, clearly exhausted. Her journey is interrupted by a massive, bloodied minotaur looming over her. The monster roars ferociously, baring its fangs in a terrifying display of aggression. A woman looks up in alarm as a massive shadow looms over her. A man watches a screen intently as a sudden explosion erupts. A minotaur with bloodied fur glares with menacing red eyes. The creature's eye glows brightly with intense rage. The woman charges forward, slashing her sword at the beast. Her blade cuts deep, sending a spray of blood into the air. A fierce, confident grin appears on her face during the battle. The man is confused by chat comments joking about making soup from the monster. The warrior crouches low, preparing for her next move. She leaps into the air and delivers a powerful slash across the enemy. The man watching the feed yells out in shock. A heavy blow smashes the monster down with tremendous force. The woman spins gracefully in midair, maintaining her momentum. She lands safely on the ground as the defeated beast collapses behind her. The man stares at the screen in silent disbelief at what he just witnessed. A swordswoman stands amidst a swirling aura, her weapon glowing with formidable power. She prepares herself for battle, letting her energy flow freely into the surroundings. As the name Kang Hyeram is spoken, she sharpens her focus and looks ahead with intensity. She raises her sword vertically, channeling a massive surge of light and power in preparation for a strike.